thank you for doing this. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. We haven't talked in a while. Let's start chronologically. The U.S. Open and the qualifier and the golf and everything. I haven't done that in a while. I was so happy to see you get to the sectionals and do the 2-round thing. 71, you made a double or a triple early and then had a great comeback. That's pretty cool. Any of that tie back into your mindset or what you do as an athlete here on the football field?
I mean, that's a great question just because...
Look, I started with a great question. I love that.
I think, you know, for me, it's a great tool, and I've been able to use it over the years in sports in general. And the triple bogey I made on 4, you know, it's a long day. It's a 36-hole event, and you know that you want to get off to a good start so you can mentally just keep going all day and know you can make up for anything because there's a lot of holes. But with a triple bogey, it kind of makes you get, okay, here we go. You can mentally go one of 2 ways. Oh, it's going to be a long day. I can't believe this happened, blah, 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 and get in the dumps. Or you can say, you know what? Every shot, focus, forget about what happened. All I can control is going forward. And I did that.
It's a little zen.
Yeah.
You read any Zen books? And it has to be that way a little bit, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's about the next possession, you know, on the football field. It's about the next throw. I just threw an interception. I just threw a touchdown. Let it go. Come right back and be perfect on the next play. And that's what I tried to do, and I was able to come back from that and get back. And I was very proud of, you know, the mental side of it, being able to take that and go forward. And that's what I'm trying to do in football. And it's just a benefit to put yourself in pressure situations and have your brain think, you know, in that same capacity.
Now, your second round didn't go as well. You had weather delays, and at some point you said, this is not my job. I have to get back to go do my job. That leads me to a quote that I read, and I'm paraphrasing, from Keith Brooking the other day, and I don't know if you've heard this. Talking about you, he said, the guy doesn't miss an off-season day. I've never been around a guy in his position who never misses a day. He has a lot going on, but it's very, very important to him. Football is at the top of his list, and to do those things that he does, a lot of guys look at him around here and it trickles down, and it affects a lot of people in a positive way. It's nice.
Yeah, I mean, and especially coming from Keith, and a guy who's serious,
so
he's been around, and you know, he's a guy who works as hard as anybody, and it's a credit to him that, you know, we were able to have a guy like him come in at that stage of his career and still be, you know, playing at such a high level. And you know, it's meaningful when guys like that say that on your team, because you know, you want everyone to improve and get better, and you know, it's nice to know that people see you working, you know, in there. And it is at my position, you know, it's a situation where you can be in a position to help lead other people, and you need to be able to do that.
When did that come to you? You're 30. Anything different happen when you turned 30?
I got older.
And it's harder to stay in shape, although you never stop with the physical stuff that you do, so you probably haven't suffered from that yet.
Not yet.
But any sort of epiphany somewhere along the line of, it's not just about how I play on the field or winning games, which is ultimately what it's about, but it's also about the way I carry myself, that since I'm the quarterback of this team, there are people watching, and I can affect them one way or another?
Yeah, I think, you know, I've used this analogy in the past, but you know, as you're a freshman and sophomore in high school, you get to a point where you're just feeling things out, you're trying to play, not making mistakes, and then as you become junior and senior, at that position, you kind of direct people and tell them what needs to be done to win, because you've been through it, you know. And I think, you know, there's a position you get to where, you know, people trust in what you're telling them, and your performance speaks on the field, and then your work ethic off it. They see that, and that's when you can lead individuals and a group, I think. And we're just trying to do that around here.
How do you feel, you know, when you and I knew each other from basically the day you got here, and it was, you know, an ascension up the ladder to get to where you started. And when you first started, you were sort of thrust in there, and we as fans were, well, it hasn't been that great, so we're ready to see something different. And you had success right away. You had success in that first, basically, 3/4 of a season. You had success in the next year, and you were revered. Then there was a time where all of a sudden, all this excellence doesn't make any difference if you don't do everything how we want you to do it, and if you don't win playoff games, and if you don't win a Super Bowl. Have you been through a, wow, they love me instantly and I'm it around here, to how can they go from loving me to hating me, and where are you now in terms of how you feel, the fans feel, media, you probably don't care much, but the fans and your perception of who you are on this team?
Well, I think the thing you realize as you get older is you can only control, you know, the things that are right in front of you, what you do on a day-to-day basis. I can control my attitude, I can control my faith, I can control, you know, the approach I'm going to take to every single day. And I try and take, you know, those approaches a certain way so that it allows me to, A, be successful on the football field, and hopefully be successful in life. And I think that approach has allowed me to continue to improve every year and hopefully achieve the goals that I've set, in this game and off the field. So I think there's a balance. You got to have it. I'm so competitive sometimes that you want everything right now. You want to win a Super Bowl now. You want to win everything, and you want to be the best. Sometimes it's a process, but it's hard as an athlete and as a competitor to, think that way. So you have to take a step back once in a while and just say, okay, short goals. So how can I improve today, this week? How can I be better as a football player after this mini camp, after this OTA? And then, from there they start stacking up. And over the course of a year or two, or in my case 3 or 4 years now, you're a much different player than you were when you started. And hopefully there's a certain time frame that you get to where now you're good enough to win those games and be a part of those games. And I think our team has taken that approach in general. And we have a great opportunity in front of us, and I'm excited about the challenge and really about the competition. I think it's going to be really, really enjoyable.
Oh man, the schedule is brutal. The schedule itself is going to be very tough. The positives from 08, the end of 08 was probably, I'm guessing, one of your lower points, the way the regular season ended.
Yeah.
The Baltimore game here, where it was the last game you wanted to do well for Jerry and for the past players, and then the Philadelphia game. To 09, where we went into 09 as media saying, we believe in the roster and the guys, but we're not sure who's going to lead. And all of a sudden in 09, a lot of guys led. You took what looked to us like a different point of view and a different approach, and we heard more from Brady James. We heard more from DeMarcus Ware. Keith, I think, had a positive effect on everybody. And all of a sudden, that question of are there enough leaders around here there's lots of leaders.
Yeah.
So 09, while it didn't end like you wanted it to, was a big step forward. But you and I have always talked, you don't get to take the last season, whether it was bad and throw it completely out, or whether it was good and just pick up from there.
Absolutely.
It's always the journey, right?
Yeah, I think for us, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. And you're right. You don't, if we won the Super Bowl last year, we're starting from the same spot as everybody else. You can't just pick up where you left off. It's a new team each year. Guys either are getting too old or they're past their point and it's going to be hard for them to come back and you're not quite the same, or guys are really young and they're coming on and they're working hard, or there's people who continue to maintain and then take that next step. And some of them are older, some of them are younger, but as long as each guy starts over, goes back and becomes recommitted to becoming the best player he can be this off season, right now, today, this week, if you have that approach, you have a great opportunity for the team collectively to be at its best the next season. And those seasons that have humbled us, it's really been a situation that allows you to sometimes improve going forward. And being a quarterback in the National Football League is not enjoyable if you're on a losing team. So I try very hard to make sure that hopefully will never take place, while I'm a quarterback here.